We're going to be enameling bead caps now, and they present their own special problems, but they're adorable and they're worth every bit of the effort. This is a perfect fit for this 12mm bead. And this one is a great fit for this 14mm bead. They can also be used as end caps for this type of fiber necklace. This is our twisty tendril over here, which is helping to secure that. This is a brass chain that I have a verdigris patina on. So these are really fun to do, you know, fun and simple. And by the time the workshop is over, you're going to have so many enamel pieces, you're just going to go to town. So let me go ahead and move that out of the way, and we'll go ahead and get started. What I usually do, you'll notice that this is a little bit dark looking, and that's because the enamel is the metal is very thin. So usually what I do is I give an extra coat of enamel along the lower edge. And this is looking, there's a little mosquito in here. Okay, so this is looking very nice. I mean, there's no real charring along the bottom because I dip it in the enamel one more time, give it an extra coat along the edge. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, you're going to want to put orient your bead cap so that it's facing out this way with the scalloped edge along that side. And what my strategy is I want to try to affix this to I'm going to turn this down for a minute while I'm talking. I want to try to affix this to the mandrel. So I'm going to be heating up, I want to heat up this. This is the densest area of the bead cap, because it doesn't have the perforations. So I'm just going to get that in there. So now it's stuck. It's stuck on the mandrel. I can't, this metal is so thin and delicate, it will not allow me to heat the whole bead cap up at one time, because what will happen is one area of it is sure to get so hot that it will burn a hole through the metal. So what I'm doing is I'm just heating, dipping, heating, and then dipping. Now once you get one coat of enamel on the bead cap, then you can become more aggressive about heating it, because glass is an insulator, and see now I'm not going to have any problem with heating that. I want to be careful not to put on so many coats of enamel that it closes the holes in this. So let's do just another coat along the bottom. Now I've developed another method of removing this from the mandrel, because I'm going to show you one of the things that we struggle with a little bit with getting these off the mandrel is, of course, now this is going to come off just perfectly. Okay, so this is it's got a very narrow bead end. Okay, so and this is very wider. So this usually has a tendency to make it difficult to get off. And if you're having that problem and you're struggling with these, here's what I would recommend. Get it stuck on here. Now that means that this is going to be okay for me to touch. It's not going to mar the enamel. Now when I'm just going to come in here and I am just going to heat up that connection right there with where the, see now I can spin this. There you go. So let's do this little guy right here. One thing I do want to mention is you'll get a buildup of enamel from time to time. You can either heat it and dip it in there, or you can crack it off. One of the things that can happen when you heat it is this will experience thermal shock and it will crack off suddenly. Here's my little green scrubby. So that's my preferred method. My preferred method is just to take an old pair of pliers and just crack it off. When you take your bead off of the mandrel, always do it. Always keep your bead, never take a hot bead away from the top of the table. If it falls, you want to make sure it falls on the table and not in your lap. So you always want to keep this over the table. Let me move this down just a little bit more. So I'm going to be heating up, getting my connection here, heat this up. Let me turn this up just a little bit. Tap it. Actually, I want to move this down a little bit on the mandrel. I don't want that mandrel extending beyond the bead cap. There we go. Heat up the area. Dip it in the enamel. It's almost like you're using the enamel to put the fire out on the bead cap. Okay, so the whole thing is covered, so let's just heat it again. Let's cover our bottom edge with this clover pink. The colors I'm using today are clover pink, which is 1715, and sapphire, which is 1425, and these are both opaque enamels. Okay. You know, this is where people start to have problems. See, they can't really get a good grip on it. So we're going to use this method. There you go. That's very simple. So we made quick work of those bead caps. Let's take a look and see what we've got here. This is still going to be a little warm. There you go. So I think those came out really nicely.